Hey there, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of the Florida Sound Archive podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Kaiser, and today's episode have two guests here with me on the podcast. Really excited to speak to them because, as you know, the podcast typically interviews guests who have been involved in Florida's music past. However, sometimes current. So we have two, and I said two guests here. We've got here Baker. We also have Red, and they are both members of the band from Miami known as VOYTEK, spelled WOJEK. Hey there, guys. How's it going?
Hey, hello. I appreciate you pronouncing it right. A lot of people do not pronounce the name right.
Yeah.
You know, so thanks for that. You know,
I have to ask, how do they pronounce it?
WOJTEK.
Yeah, phonetically, always.
Almost always WOJTEK.
WOJTEK.
Yeah.
Watch
to give a shit. They'll be like, "Oh man, is Worcestershire playing today? Oh man, I can't. Yo, what's the new Worcestershire sound like?"
Let's get right into that. Where does the name come from?
You want to take this one because he's the one that came up with the name. Yeah, go take this.
It was a bear that fought in World War II. He got like picked up by some soldiers in Poland. It was a Polish bear. And essentially like they picked him up because he was like an abandoned bear that some kid was like selling on the train station. And like he was the mascot for like that platoon or whatever. I forget what the little groups of the military are called, but like he was like their mascot. And at some point they were gonna get shipped out. And they made him. They were like, "Oh, well, you can't bring any pets on the ship." And they're like, "No, he's not a pet. He's a part of the army." So they put him on army payroll, and he started as a private. And they taught him how to fucking like load cannons and like move artillery shells and shit like that.
Yeah.
And he fought, essentially helped the fight against Nazis and stuff. And it was super dope. And eventually left the army like at the rank of corporal,
Which is kind of crazy.
which is crazy.
That's a really detailed story.
Dude, it's crazy. It's insane.
It is. It sounds like it.
Just to clarify, this is a Polish bear, a Polish brown bear. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, like that. Okay, in World War II, essentially. So okay, yeah, that's
It's nuts.
So when you see us, think of a bear.
Yeah.
Think of that. You know, ta.
Now that we know where the band name originated from, the third member's not here, and that's Gabe. He plays keyboards, right?
Yes.
Yeah, shout out to Gabe.
That's the boy.
So you are a trio, and
Yeah.
was there ever any more people involved with the band besides you three?
So the band started around, I think like a month or two into
The
quarantine.
the COVID times.
Into
dude.
quarantine, right?
Yeah.
So 2020, like April,
2020.
May maybe of 2020, right?
Yeah.
Give or take. And we met up, and then we were stoked on it just being us two.
Yeah.
But then we wanted to branch out, and we had another musician in the band. They left the band, and then now we have Gabe, and it's been working out so far, and yeah, it sounds good. We've contemplated having a
vocalist?
vocalist.
Yeah, we tried that.
But it's honestly us three. It seems really good right now with us three. You know, like, but yeah, we have thought of it. You know, but right now it's pretty good with us three, I would say.
I like the sound instrumental of what you're doing. I mean, I get a vocalist would definitely add a different sound to the band. I think all entirely, but I like what you're doing.
Yeah, it was
Thank you, bud.
For a while. It was like that big fight between like, oh, do you want that kind of human element? And it's like, no, let's get weird. Let's get more weird. Let's make it more weird.
Yeah, and that's not to say we haven't added lyrics to our newer stuff. There's a lot more songs that let me start over. We have newer songs that have lyrics.
Yeah,
it's not a lot, but we are trying to incorporate them little by little when we find it to be suiting.
It's like we save the lyrics for just like the big poignant sections of the set. I guess.
You heard that? Poignant. Look at that.
I heard that.
These big boy words, okay? I can indubitably.
That's a pretty big word for Sunday morning. Great job.
Considering I'm normally sleeping right now.
Yeah.
Dude, I rolled out of bed for this.
Yeah, I know. And I wake up around like 8:30 Eastern, right? Whatever, right? I'm about 30 minutes out from
crackhead for
30
that.
minutes out from this guy. I show up around like 9:35. I call him and he's like, "Hey man," I'm like, "You're still in bed?" "Yeah, I thank God I showed up early. Thank God I showed up early." And whatever. Hey, I'm not mad. I'm not even complaining.
I would EP, bro.
Hey, well, we're getting off. We're trying to do the interview.
There's always one person in the band who has to be the responsible one.
Yeah, Baker, usually.
Yeah. You know, my back hurts from carrying this team.
Keeping it bent over.
How would you describe the sound of VOYTEK? Because it's different.
Yeah.
Loud and annoying, probably.
I would say that thank you, Laura.
I love you.
I get this question a lot, and it's I think a lot of bands have a hard time describing their own sound, you know. I would say it's definitely punky. It's definitely has elements of power violence.
For sure.
Elements of DB,
Sometimes it's a little hardcore-y.
So sometimes a little hardcore.
It's got a little bit of chut for for the youth.
I'm sure a lot of bands have a hard time doing this, right? We've been called jazz noise.
Yeah.
We've been called jazz violence, I like jazz violence, but the thing is that people, when you hear the word jazz violence, you think of something different than what we play. At least that's what I think.
Yeah.
I think more jazz than and then with elements of hardcore. I don't think we're that.
I just lie to people and tell people we're a ska band. I just lie.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier.
Yeah.
That's a pretty that's a pretty terrible lie right there. Although there's horns. I mean, there is horns. So if you didn't know when you came out to a show and that's what you heard, you could perhaps assume that there's elements of ska, and then as soon as you all start to play, head for the exit because it's not ska. So
it's a lot more gnarly.
So with all the different sound and influences that you may have, who are some of those influences that you guys have? Other bands, especially anyone locally that you may have seen over the years that has played a big part in helping invigorate this idea of VOYTEK?
Okay. Yeah. Latin music in general, Cuban music in general.
Celia Cruz.
Anything Hispanic, anything Latino, like that. That's like, I mean, that's who we are. You know what I'm saying? Cuban too, right?
Yeah,
we're both Cuban Americans, and like that's because there's something about like if I were to quit making the heavy music, I think I'd focus on making that kind of music.
Like a salsa band or something, bro.
Yeah.
Every time it's a fucking constant bit where we're like, man, let's just sort of fucking salsa band, make the bread on the side, and tour as VOYTEK.
Yeah. Like there's something like about like, I know it sounds really cheesy, but like the older you get, like your heritage and where you come from, and like preserving history is like a big deal. And like, like if I guess I would focus on like preserving like my people's music, but we're getting off. I'm sorry. Death Grips, Ceremony, Iron Lung, Trash Talk,
all the heavy shit.
Oh yeah, that's all the heavy stuff. But then there's like the R. Stevie Moores. There's there's music that doesn't even use real instruments. They just sample bass, like Chopped and Screwed or Vaporwave. Like that's a big influence on me. As far as like local people, a lot of the local acts that like really influence me are more like individual musicians that I got to have one-on-ones with.
Yeah,
that like sit there and like really change your perspective on not only the music you play, the type of music you play, but what you're doing with your instrument. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you because a lot of people view their instrument when they first start playing as like this one thing, and it takes another drummer, another bassist, another whatever you do to like be like, no, have you ever thought about like in this form or in that form? Like shout out to Homer. that used to be he's in a he has a company called Homer Made Drums, and he and just like the few talks I got to have with him about like just like how to view the drums, you know, it's not it's so what if you tune it differently and it's not necessarily in tune, like it's how you're tuning it. It doesn't, you don't, I'm sorry, the coffee's hitting me so hard right now, bro. Yo, I'm fucking like I'm like
You're going, man. You're going. But this is great because you're sharing some of the things that have an influence the sound of this band, this project.
And then it's funny. Tony Capel from Pocket of Lollipops.
Oh yeah, I was gonna mention them too.
He's a drummer in a band called Pocket Lollipops. Him and I just like we haven't had many conversations, but the few we've had like about drumming, it's like he really opened my eyes to like, it's like, why do you have to use two sticks? Like, why can't you use a stick and a mallet, or a stick and some bristles?
Yeah, brushes.
Look, me, I'm the drummer. Why do you have to use traditional sticks? You know, you could use a mallet. You can use brushes. It's like things like that really shaped me as the drummer that I am today. And like, those are just some of my influences. You know, obviously like bands might like have gotten you into the music, but then when you talk to individual musicians, I feel like that like adds an extra kick to like your influence and your inspiration and your drive to like create other things and be unique and stuff. And maybe I'm going off now on a different tangent, but what about you? What are some of your influences for this band and in general?
As a whole, no, I couldn't agree more on the whole like Latin thing, like a lot of like the fucking Celia Cruz and stuff like that. It was a big moment for me when I realized that a lot of the songs we play are like in polyrhythms. Like it's like, you know, obviously it's got a DB to it, but like we really lean into that kind of like kind of lilt to it. So I was for sure a lot of the Latin influence. As far as like some of my favorite artists go, unironically, a lot of ska helped me get into playing bass and stuff like that. Like Streetlight Manifesto and Real Big Fish were the bands that got me into playing bass.
Those are the bands that got me into going to shows. Period.
Yeah. I was like, dude, I'm a fucking unabashed ska lover. I fucking cannot stand ska haters, dude.
Like the first time I went skanking,
dude. Yeah.
Like the smile was from ear to ear,
dude.
Yes. Whatever.
Fucking like so like I mean like I try my best to kind of move bass lines around like that and kind of create a flow to the song like for like because of that influence. As far as like you know, hardcore and stuff like that goes, like Black Flag was like a huge awakening for me like as a kid, realizing like, yeah, you can make loud and fast music. That's just how things can sound. It the fucking weird and wacky solos and shit like that, like from Slip It In, where it's like half of that song, aside from being like the weird fucking sounds, like it was just fucking like it's I love that shit. It's like you can make weird shit. Like I love that. As far as the Miami scene goes, for sure, Pocket Lollipops were like people that really got me into thinking about myself as an artist more. Getting into the scene, the first show that I had ever went to was actually when you had played with Super Saiyan Tupac, and that was when I was like, you can fucking like you can just do that. You can get on set and fucking just rip for like 15 minutes straight, loud, fast, and just like let that kind of flurry of like whatever the songs are about, like that feeling, just like rip. So that was a big one.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, dude.
Thank you, man.
So it definitely sounds like there's a really good mix of where you are both coming from, but also that connection that you have too, which I'm sure is pretty helpful. What about for Gabe? Does he share similar influences that bring to the band too?
For sure. It's I've known Gabe a little bit longer. And like definitely coming up, like they liked a lot more kind of like like shoegazy stuff. They started in a band called Dupooch, and that was like a shoegazy project, and that was kind of like shit at the time. That was his jam. So I know, and then at the same time, like we can flip from that to like the more hardcore stuff. Like it definitely there's a lot of shared influence in the band, but there's a lot of separate little tidbits as well that we all like.
And you all have played in other bands, right? Besides VOYTEK. So compare the sound of this project to some of the other bands that you've played in. What's the contrast to VOYTEK with some of the other projects you've been in, had a chance to play in?
For me personally, it's a lot more experimental for sure.
I would say
Yeah.
I would say that's exactly probably. I was gonna talk I was gonna just talk a shit ton. What really you just said it in one word. Yeah, it's more experimental.
It's definitely a lot more kind of like throw shit at a wall and see what sticks.
Yeah.
Because it's, you know, why not? What's the why play the same when you can do other shit?
Sure.
Oh, I forgot to mention AAA because we're talking about the really AAA is another one that really fucking.
You got to talk about Against All Authority. I actually get a chance to catch them today. So that should
what
be
time is the
pretty
show?
I think doors are at 6.
Nice.
They're coming down here soon with Suicide Machines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are.
Shit. Actually, I've messed with. I've heard a few Suicide Machines. So I feel like them. Yeah.
Suicide Machines is another one that like fucking that. Oh man.
Like the
fuck
short.
that mesh of like angry but still ska. That's another one for sure.
You should definitely catch Against All Authority playing at Revolution. I think it's in July. They're doing All Fall Down in its entirety. So
yes, dude.
Get your ticket for that because that's going to be a great show.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I know Baker, you mentioned as we were kind of chatting before the show that you actually have had some run-ins with a member of Against All Authority.
Yeah, like back in the day, it's funny when you asked the question about the compare your other bands to this band. I was gonna go down the list. That's why I said about this band was a little this and this band was a little, that's why he's like he summed it up in 2 seconds. But the first band I was gonna talk about was the first, I would consider the first real band I was in, called Baker Acted. And if for those of you that aren't from Florida, it's Baker Acted. I think it's a Florida thing where like if they think you're crazy, they can Baker Act you, which is another way of taking away your rights. Like honestly, like that's if they really can't, unless you're really crazy, then I'm sorry you're crazy. My bad, bro. You know, but you know most of the time they're just trying to take your rights away. Bro, I'm sorry, I have a need to do this. Yo, shout out to fucking Bedwetter. Hell yeah. Okay, back to my question. And I when I used to play with Baker Acted back in the day, Joe Kuhn, shout out to you, one of the members of AAA. He just used to hang out, fucking regular dude, bro. And I used to just see him. We used to kick it, and like, looking back at it, it's just like how funny how like this dope ass dude, like down to earth dude, with this much fame, you know what I'm saying? Like relatively speaking to the punk scene, you know what I mean? Like was just like we would just kick it and hang out, and like the fact that he knew me by name, and like I always thought that was like the coolest thing. And like I didn't have that like starstruck thing because I didn't grow up with AAA as like other people did, and like I got to know him late, I got to love the music later on, it was just like looking back, I'm like, bro, how fucking cool, you know what I'm saying? Like I get to say a little tidbit now, and like little things like that. It's yeah, man, it's cool.
So I assume you met at a club catching a show or something like that. So what are some of the venues or clubs that you've been to and also have played at that are some of your favorites, not just in South Florida, but in Florida in general?
Loser Lounge.
Shout out to Loser Lounge.
Shout out to Loser
Rest
Lounge.
in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace, Loser Lounge. Rest in peace, Wyatt. Loser Lounge was the fucking venue that like that it was all the way in Broward, and like for me that's a fucking rough drive because I live in Cutler Ridge, so it's like an hour drive.
Even
but it
farther.
it was the first venue to really kind of give me a like almost feel like I was at I would go there and not worry about it because it felt like it was down the street. The vibe there was beautiful. Beer Punks and Loser Lounge.
You beat me to it. I was gonna say Beer Punks / Loser Lounge. Yeah. It was owned by the same dude essentially.
Beer Punks was probably the first show that we had played together, but on separate bills because I was in well, I still am in Headfoam.
Yeah,
but I was playing. I was playing with Headfoam at that night. What do you call it? And then you played as Baker's Paradise, right?
When
it was supposed to be Jackie DiNardo, but I think you ended up playing as Baker's Paradise with Lizzie
at Loser Lounge
at Beer Punks.
Bro, I don't maybe.
It was a while ago.
Yeah. So,
But dude, fucking that place was amazing. That was the first place that was the place that sold me my first beer. That was the place where I met Wyatt, the fucking toughest guy ever. Like, what do you call it? Ex-military, just like absolute unit of a man. He used to have a punching machine in the punching arcade game where no, I don't think I ever saw anybody pay for it. I just saw Wyatt go, "You want to turn on? You want to turn on? Yeah, yeah, yeah." And he'd go behind the bar and he'd grab a fistful of quarters and shove them in. And he'd let everybody take a slam. Oh, 300, 400, 500. And Wyatt goes, and just fucking,
what do you get, the 999?
Like 999
Yeah,
every time. So Luzons and beer punks, like big formative place. Obviously, there's no question that Churchill's.
There's no
That goes. I feel like that almost goes without saying.
I don't know if you know, it's still closed, right?
Yes.
And
I
like,
do. Yeah.
it's like it's looking very grim. Like for a while, we everyone kind of kept on saying like, oh, you know, it's just going through a thing. But now it like legitimately looks like it might not come back. Like,
and if it does, it's gonna be a trendy beer garden or something.
It's not gonna. Sure. Yeah, it's looking pretty bad.
That area, man, that area is scary because it's like
it's a rough area.
It's not. It's scary because I remember going down there seeing it's a what do you call it? It's a neighborhood. It's a little bit more kind of like. It's rural and whatever, but piece by piece, the scary thing about it is that every time I drove down there, oh, new little bistro, a new little like thing, and then like it. Oh shit! I almost kicked the power supply. It like every single time I went down there, it was a new little trendy fancy thing, and it's like it takes away hope every single time I go down there. It's really
I know you
scary.
mean like on the way, right?
Yeah, like every other building. Boop, boop, oh, little fairy lights get posted around, or little what are they called? The bistro lights, the little bulbs that dangle.
I have a bummer because like there's like this decline in like a neighborhood, right? And then like what makes it cool again is like art and like music, right? And then like, well, we already know the trend, and then you build it up until it's cool again, and people can make money off of it, and then they
come in and swoop
you kind of lose it, and then the cycle starts all over again in another part of the city. And like I feel like until you lose all that, I don't know, until something else decays and then whatever. But while we're on the subject of Florida venues that we appreciate and love to play at, I want to give a shout out to Uncle Lou's in Orlando.
Whoa.
I have the guy's a cool dude. Like the guy, like pub. He was quoted in the owner was quoted in a magazine saying, "I don't understand these punk kids, but I don't like what do you say?" He's like I don't get the music, but I understand them and they understand me.
That's what's up, dude.
And I thought that was super cool of him to say.
That's what the fuck is up.
Yeah, and I've seen him at shows. He's not having a good time. He's like really not liking the music, but he's like, hey, whatever, bro. These people keep the lights on.
What did he first say to you when he heard your music?
Oh, him. Funny. I think he came up to me after a show once and said, "Hey, bro." He has like a little Jamaican accent. I can't do it, but I'm gonna try my best. Hey, man. Hey, man. Love the drumming. And I said, "Thank you, dude." It's like, "Where's my money?" He goes, No, not me, door guy.
Yeah.
No, I just added that part.
That's funny.
But now that we're on the subject of venues that we appreciate, I want to just give a shout out to Rain Dog as well, to the Bark. We're actually playing the Bark on tour. It's in Tallahassee. What else now? Oh my God! What other venues do we play here in Miami,
dude?
There's not a lot.
The thing is that like it's hard to think about because like almost all of them are gone.
Yeah, a lot of venues in Miami like, are gone.
Like, you know? you want to go to Rosas? No, it got bought out by a big tech company. You want to go to Space Mountain? No, it died during the pandemic.
Yeah.
As these things happen, other people that you are close with and other bands and other musicians, what have you, what's their thoughts on that as well with all these places that are closing up in the Miami area?
It's an overwhelming, like, heavy bummer. It's I don't know.
And mind you, we're talking about venues that cater to us.
Did it get darker in you?
I think it's because when this depending on the lighting out here.
Oh shit.
We're talking about venues that cater to us. You know, we're not talking about like, you know, like venues that are like gonna pack 500 people for fucking you know, I don't know, reggaetonero, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, do your thing, be who you are, do you want, but we're not gonna sell out a place with a bunch of people that are, there to dance. I mean, let me start over. We have done that, but like, it's never been like, you know what I'm saying. Like, it's like there's a difference in like, and and like, so when it comes to music that like we make, the venues that cater to that, there's not a lot of those left, and damn, I'm even like, I'm even having a hard time thinking the ones that like are gone. Like, what else used to be here, right?
Man.
Yeah. A lot of that's okay. A lot of that changes, of course, over the years, and places come and go, what have you. But it is nice to hear that you have found other places to play throughout Florida. That seemed to be good for the music that you're playing. What about the other Florida bands that typically play with you on those other shows, whether it be in Orlando, maybe Tampa, Tallahassee, Jacksonville, anywhere else in the state? Who are some other Florida bands that you tend to play out with?
Headfoam.
Yeah.
So shout out to Headfoam. We're actually going on tour with them. It's Red's other band.
My first love.
We play a lot with Eternally Fucked, another one of Red's bands.
I'm not in that band.
I sure you were gonna name a band that's Red's not in. Just give me a second.
I'm not in that band, actually. I don't know those guys. They wear masks. I've never met them. I just let them borrow my gear.
Nice.
Real people
for sure. Gaskell's Antifaces and also Pena Maxima. That's one of Gordo's bands.
Shout out to Gordo.
Shout out to Gordo, dude. Oh, Gordo is running Bar Nancy now.
He is
on Thursdays. So like he's kind of helping bring some life into the scene for that.
Ask him about getting the kickoff show.
I'm not. Yeah. Devalued.
Yeah.
Devalued is that's another one of those bands that got me into like the scene too.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna forget the first time that I wasn't playing with Eternally Fucked, because I'm not in that band. What do you call it? I forgot. I think it was the drummer that was like, dude, I thought you guys were gonna suck. Your name is corny as hell. Which was like the most weird, like left
back. That's weird.
He's like, well, you guys rip, and I'm like, thanks, fuck yeah, set the bar low and jump over it.
There you go.
Dude, it was so good.
Oh man.
What are the crowds like at some of these shows that you play? And is there a pit that typically forms to the music that you play?
It depends. It really depends. Like, sometimes we're lucky and we get to the venue, the people that run the whole show and the bands and the crowd that go to that kind of in that city, like they're gung-ho about this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And like
they're open-minded.
That Monday night is their Saturday night. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're rock stars to them, like for real, like they think we're the fucking, and also on the other hand, on this other side of that coin,
we play a 20-minute set of guys going,
and we're lucky that they're standing for us, and we're lucky that they're nice enough to stand for us, like
right.
We've like, because there's the bartender doesn't even turn around, you know what I mean, like they're like cashing out or whatever. And we're being told by the promoter, hey, hello,
right.
Like, so it just
there's some parts of the set that are deliberately more dancey than others, and I there is definitely a reaction. Like there's a part where it just straight up goes into it, and that usually gets a good reaction out of people. There's the more kind of like straight ahead, like hardcore punky stuff too that people will start pitting to. So like, anybody who's like you were saying, like anybody who's so much as fucking in the room there hearing it, like, I don't know, I'm just glad somebody can hear it.
Mind you, we've literally played for about like one of the biggest crowds you ever played for was like what, 300 people?
What, in Rhode Island?
Yeah,
that was really good.
300 people.
That's not the norm, by the way.
I don't say that like to throw my, like, look at me, I play for a crowd of 300. I say it like, wow, like I how amazing, like I didn't expect that. And they went nuts. But that's the perfect example of I'm in a city where these kids live for this. Like they'll die for this. Like
they're here to experience like different stuff.
You know, I think we all went through that phase where like when you're a young kid, I would say around the teenage years, you're like, this is who I am, and I will die. You know, and we all go through that. Like this is who I am, but this is who I am. I'm sorry. This is who I am, Mom. You know, like,
That's a great segue though, because that was the first tour that you all did, right? That first East Coast tour, where I think Rhode Island was the furthest north that you went, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, and it's funny because the story about that was I in my journey to book everything, right? I was hitting up people like so I typed in the hashtag on Instagram, Georgia punks or Georgia DIY. This is a funny story.
Yeah.
And the first guy that popped up, I said, hey man, I'm looking for a show in your town. Can you cook it up? He goes, I know the perfect guy. I got you. He gives me the link. I don't look twice. I message the other guy. The guy goes, hey, you know what, bro? What day do you need? I tell him the date. He goes, it's booked. Don't worry about it anymore.
Such a beautiful thing, bro.
Bro, a week or two passed by. The guy goes, hey, here's the information. Here's the link. I look up the address. I go, wait a minute, Rhode Island? I was looking for Georgia. Hey, and then right there, you know the meme where it's a lady with the math problems and like she's trying to figure. I'm there like, wait, if I'm able to like move this date around and if I hit this person up and I'm like, how do I? Oh my God, bro! It honestly, it was a blessing in this. It was one of those things that like at the moment I was like, no, but I'm very we're all thankful
because it turned out to be one of the coolest fucking.
Shout out to Revival Brewery. The hospitality, how they like
pallets of beer, dude.
The beer flowed like wine,
and the wine flows like water.
And they just treated us like really like with a lot of love in it, and I felt like it was Southern hospitality in the North, you know, like that's how I felt up there. It was nice. So shout out to Revival Brewery and in Providence, Rhode Island. So yeah, that's the story about that. So
that's a great story. And I would imagine that some of the other dates came together in their own way. So because you played other places on the way up, right? So talk about how some of the other shows went and maybe some of the favorite moments you had when you were going up the East Coast first.
Yeah, North Carolina.
So it's going back
North Carolina, dude.
Going back to playing a show where almost like 0 people are at the venue, right? There's like 5 people, you know, but sometimes, you know, got to take it with stride, you know?
Yeah.
And we were just like, let's just have the best time. We'll make the best.
And it was the best.
One of the best.
Some of the sweetest people
we had on tour. Sweetest people that we didn't even see in the crowd. Like we didn't even see them in the bar. They were there. They were there. Yeah. They were like, hey, these kids, all of them, whatever they want, on me, on the house. You know, I mean, I'll put it on my tab. And I'm like, we're just like, no way. And one guy came up to us and was like, forgot it. What was his name? Michael. Shout out to Michael for I don't know your last name. Sorry.
It was a rough night.
It was bro. I drank the most that night. Dude, I don't drink anymore.
It sounded like you're at an open bar. So
this guy. So that's like the first bar where we played at. This guy goes here around on me for these kids, and I said, awesome. You didn't even ID us. And then after. Not that we need to be ID'd. We're getting into that. We're getting into
so the hill, brother, the hill.
Yeah, right. It's like, hey, you don't need my ID, and the bartender's like, no.
Sorry. 16-year-olds love ordering gin and tonic.
So that's the first bar. This guy named Mike comes up to us and goes, hey, so I kind of work at a arcade, a barcade. Do you guys want to come and like all you can drink and all you can play? And I said, yes.
We walk in there and it's like something of a movie. The doors open. It's a big wide open space. There's pinball machines and House of the Dead and Pac-Man and like all these fucking crazy cool games. And he leads us straight down the aisle and it's a huge, massive bar. And he goes, hey man, let me get quarters, and like I guess because he works there, and the guy goes, yeah, and he just hands each of us like a fistful of quarters, and he goes, yo, yeah, just go ahead, and you guys want anything? You guys want to drink anything? It's on the house. And I was
Yes,
like,
I would love to drink way more than I've already drank.
which by that point we had already exhausted the drink tickets and niceties of the other bar that we were at. So
And
I'll never
was this
forget
before?
where,
Was this before you all played or after you
After-
played?
after.
No,
Okay.
no way. You think we were gonna that kind of love before showing like what we got, you know?
Yeah.
You never know.
The thing that got me was like after we're already like we're all liquored up and we're all like off of like the tip of like playing all these games and being real stoked. He leans like we're all outside just kind of hanging out because we're out of quarters, and he leans and he goes, "You guys want to go to the cave?" And we're like, "What?"
Oh yeah, I forgot about this.
He's like, "Do you want to go to the? You guys never been to the cave? We've never been to North Carolina before, brother."
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
And he leads us down this series of like sketchy alleys, and we're all fucking stumbling and giggling, and we're all like,
We could have been fucking marching to our doom.
yeah, for it could have been taking us to just end it all right there. Tour would have been cut short 3 days in.
Takes us to a bar venue place called the Cave because it's a literal cave.
It's yes. Yeah, so after all these like alleyways and stuff, like he takes us to a spot where the address is like, I don't remember the actual address, but the address is like 4321 and a half. And like you open it and it's an actual cave. You go in and the ceiling's like this tall.
Yeah,
it's all
yeah.
rocks and stuff. And you go in, you open it up, and it's like there's a small bar there with like 3 or 4 regulars, an old dusty piano in the corner, and it's insane.
We don't recommend you going if you're like 6.5 feet.
Yeah.
So this is actual place, not was it literally a cave?
Well,
So I think it was made to look like a cave.
it
I
makes
think
it look
Okay.
like a cave,
Yeah.
but it was it was a pretty cool place. And
lights were dim.
and in our hearts and in our minds,
It's a cave.
It's a cave.
After you played that show in North Carolina, where was the next gig?
Where did we go? I think that was we went all the way up, right?
My memory is not good.
I think after North Carolina, we went all the way up to Jersey.
To Jersey. So it's funny because I have a list. I'm sure you do this too because I have a radio show and I have to do this because if not, I forget. I have a list of things I want to talk about, and like one of the things was tour. Funny enough, and one of the reasons I wanted to talk about it was because of the fact that we had a great start to the tour, but the ending of the tour
was rough.
was rough to say the least. We had a lot of car problems, a lot of car issues, and
I feel like car issues are putting it lightly.
Car issues are putting it lightly, and we're just thankful
We got home.
that we got home, and that's like legitimate. Like, oh man,
we're stuck in the middle of like butt fuck nowhere, Virginia, with
yeah.
a blown head gasket.
yeah, it was.
Oh, wow.
rough. It was okay. So
We went to Providence.
it was
Rhode Island.
It was Providence, Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those are the 2 best nights.
Yeah, and those are and it was like there was a
smack in the
gap.
middle. Smack in the middle. Yeah.
It's like, oh man, like an appreciation for the Northeast.
Yeah.
You know,
honestly.
just like I've been to New York, and no disrespect to New York or people that love New York, but it's too much for me. It's too overwhelming.
I love New York.
And then Providence, Rhode Island was like, or Rhode Island in general, sorry, was just like this like beautiful like.
Rhode Island was
like,
a perfect in between.
yeah.
I feel like it's there's a lot of space and openness for like houses and just kind of walking around. But also, like, you know, it doesn't take me 20 minutes to drive to the next fucking grocery store.
Yeah. It's funny because, like, you know how, like, you judge things, like, based on your last experience. But if you've never done anything, you're just, like, you know, you can't base it off anything. You're just happy you did it, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, Rhode Island was funny because, like, we had a great show, great reception. You know, like I said, we be like all you can drink, all you can eat, essentially, like, really great time. The payout was pretty sweet. One of the highest of the tour. And but like the people after the show was over pretty much scattered, you know, not that they didn't like us, it's just, you know, whatever.
They're kids, actually. There was a really young crowd.
Yeah, whereas like North Carolina, like the crowd wasn't that big, but they were like,
they stuck around.
They were there, they just wanted to kick it, bro. And that's kind of cool, you know. But I mean, yeah, I don't know, I mean, it's funny because like the Rhode Island show in particular really opened our eyes about like not only like the possibility for the music we make, but the potential for our band in general. You know, because like man, it's like just seeing all these kids going crazy for us. They had never seen us live before.
Bro, singing lyrics to a song that didn't have lyrics.
Singing lyrics to a song that we it's not recorded anywhere. It's not like you can find it and learn the lyrics and then show up and sing along. Like
no,
like,
they just heard them and caught on and just
they
took the mic and started doing it.
Yeah,
for me.
and like just like I said, like how in it they were, and like you know, it's just an amazing time. Like Rhode Island was just it made me like want to live there. Okay, like it made me want to live there. Like how beautiful it was, and you know, I'm not, even though I don't like the cold. I really hate the cold.
You will have the cold for sure.
Sorry.
I mean, a memorable first tour for sure.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I you know,
best tour I've ever been on.
We know we had a good time because I really busted my ass to book the next one. This one coming up now.
Dude, no, yeah, he's honestly been a fucking hero for this one. He
like
put together the whole thing.
You know, there's like obviously there's like the last show we played on tour was in a place called Crayola House. The name of the venue is called Crayola House.
That's another one that was phenomenal.
This is one of like the top ones. You know, we only really got to play 8 shows on our last tour, right? And
for a 14-day tour.
And out of those ones, the one that really stood out to us, like I would say this is like in the top 3. This Crayola House in Harrisonburg, Virginia, and Elias.
Papa E, I don't remember his name. Elias, yeah, it is
Elias. Shout out to Elias. He's one of the dudes that runs the place. He's in a band called Machete. Another place that like the crowd was amazing, the venue was amazing, the people wanted to just kick it with us after, and just a good old grand. It feels like I'm just like a broken record at this time, but like overall, like, you know, that's, you know, these like Rhode Island, this one, North Carolina, like these particular shows really stood out to us because like we just felt like they're treating us like we're like this is like amazing, and treating us like we're family
for us. Like,
yeah, like it was a good, you know, good time. Obviously, like if we sat here and talked for hours and had a few drinks and stuff, I don't drink anymore, but I'm saying like if we did, like I'm sure there'd be other stories that we're forgetting at the moment that we bring up, you know. But what I unfortunately, I've learned this from my like elementary school music teacher. She's like, unfortunately, you remember bad stuff in life more than you remember good stuff sometimes. And we really went through it. The last leg of that tour,
yeah,
we really went through some bad times. Like we were driving, we were getting back from the venue, I think, after playing the day after from Harrisonburg, right, from the Crayola House in Virginia, and all we see is like liquid and start spewing from under the hood.
Yeah.
And
smoke.
like,
it was
smoke, and no, but there was liquid too.
Yeah.
And it looked like melted peanut butter.
Yeah, it was rough.
Know? And that was a start to like us like essentially being like, what are we doing? How are we getting home? And obviously, I guess the start was really New Jersey, right? When we got into a car accident because some fucking dumb lady censoring myself here, wanted to be a dumb motherfucker,
and then proceed to fucking
proceed to fucking be like, oh, I
think I'm gonna change.
I go now, good luck everybody else, and then and then we crashed, fucking rear-ended her and shit, and like that was a start to like our car problems, and we had to stop there. We had to unbend the fucking the fender.
Oh, dude, yeah. So
we
we're driving in a massive van.
So we're pulling over in New Jersey. Okay, you already know how that is. And fucking, you can't pump your own gas, New Jersey, right? And what is that? How ass backwards, right? Whatever. To then have to we spent an hour unbending our fucking the bumper, the fender bumper,
the car part,
the car part,
the one where
the only reason we spent that time is because if we don't, it's gonna rub against a tire and pop the tire. That's the only reason. So we get to the shitty ass fucking show in New Jersey, right?
It wasn't a shitty show. The show was good. We just didn't.
Whatever. Tomato. And then we go, and then when we get to Virginia, everything's great. And that right after the show is like when the car problems start. It was like that day in particular, we almost got arrested because we decided to sneak into an abandoned Like, so
the owner of the venue, or the guy who booked the show for us in Virginia, fucking was like, we were like, oh, we're bored.
What do we do?
And he goes, there's an abandoned mental asylum over here off of the street.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, sure, nothing could possibly happen.
Not 20 minutes into that place, police come out,
open up,
and then we immediately look at each other. And man, I think
we're like, dude, yeah.
I believe in positive energy and like trying to be a good person and karma and all that fucking bullshit. And I said, guys, look, fuck it. Let's cut our losses. Let's go outside. We'll see the cops. We'll deal with whatever repercussions we need to deal with for sneaking in here. If we get arrested, we'll try to bail out. Fuck it, as opposed to try to hide, and it makes things worse. That's what I said, right? We come outside, we start walking straight to the cop cars.
Oh, yo, all of us hands up.
Yeah, we're like walking out like this, hands up.
You're like, bro,
walking to the cop cars that are like they're the cop cars are parked like this, blocking the only way in and out. Like obviously humans can come in and out, but if you're in a vehicle, you can't come in and out. We didn't have a vehicle, you know. So we're walking, or just being like, hey, fuck it. If the cops in there, we're gonna meet them head on. The cops decided that they thought we were trying to escape from the back, right? So they thought
went around.
So they went around while we went straight ahead and said, we're being good boys and we're gonna fucking turn ourselves in. When we realized that the cops were all the way in the back, we said, suckers, and we fucking booked it.
I'll never gonna forget. It was this cartoonish moment where we're walking and we see the first cop car and there's nobody in the first cop car, and we go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But there's got to be one in the next one. They wouldn't leave it
They
unattended.
wouldn't leave both cop cars empty with nobody, like, you know, to guard the only entrance to the fucking place.
Dude, so we walk past the second cop car and it's empty, and all of us go. And like I could have, like, if I was watching in third person, there would have been a little cartoon puff of air.
Yo, and then like whatever, our cars parked uphill because it's not Florida where it's all flat. And you see just like six little fucking 5 fucking foot people like climbing all these little uphill, getting to the car, turning on the car, then going to the first little parking lot we found to chill because we thought it was chill and everything's fine. We park, we go, we lay on the grass. Not 5 minutes later, we see both cop cars circle into, like, not into the parking lot, but
around the block.
But around the block, and they go like this. And we said, you know, guys, I'm just gonna say this: we need to get the fuck out of here right now and just go back to our hotel room. And then that's when the car problems really hardcore started, with the bursting of the.
That's when it started smoking, and we were like, oh, that's weird, and we stopped, and it kind of fixed itself for the night.
And then the next day is when it fucking destroyed itself.
Next day.
Sorry. Yeah, she gets hazy, you know, but
sure.
It was bad. That was the start of us like breaking down and having to talk to mechanics and like having to put coolant again.
Dude,
and
shout
again,
out to the Boomhauer tier, like mumbling mechanic.
Oh my God.
Pulled up in like the older, shittier version of our van. He had no fingers.
Wait.
No
Backstory. So look, just because we could talk little details to get to this point, but just to get to like the catalyst, I would say, right?
No fingers.
You know, we are in a Walmart parking lot. We had been on the road for about 2 days at that point.
Yeah.
But when I say being on the road for 2 days, it's 2 days of
15 miles an hour.
10 miles an hour, and having to turn off the car every 5-10 minutes, meaning we're not getting anywhere. We're like, we know this, like, we're never going to get home. So we finally kind of like park at a Walmart, because they let you like sleep at Walmart, you know. Just shout out for anyone that's listening. Like, you can like legally camp out at a Walmart and they don't mess with you. It's kind of cool if you can't pay for a campsite or whatever. What is it now? So it's like 2 separate things. It's kind of cool.
So crazy.
So we're there, and like I can't sleep because it is what it is. Like, I'm trying to figure out how to get home. Everyone's passed out. So for some reason, my anxiety and through all that, told me go to the toy section in Walmart to relax.
That was like our safe haven the whole time during tour, though.
So you see me like frantically in the toy section at Walmart. Like, do I buy something to relax in the meantime? Like, what do I do?
The hunter-gatherer instincts are kicking in.
And then my Papa Baker mentality kicks in, and I start going, tow trucks, rent a U-Haul, rent a tow truck to Miami, mechanics in the area, just, you know, like anything to feel like I'm trying to fix the problem, you know. And whatever. I essentially like I called like I waited until like it was 7 a.m, you know, like or whenever 8. I forgot what time they opened, but I waited until they said, "Hey, we're open." I started calling mechanics. Nobody picked up. Not one person picked up, and I'm there like, bro, what am I gonna do? The U-Hauls are too expensive, and we leave the car there, so we still have a problem. The fucking tow trucks are.
Oh yeah, the car wasn't ours, by the way. We were borrowing it from our friend Raven.
So we can't leave the car there.
Wow.
We can't tow it. Whatever, just a bunch of shit. And one guy calls me back and goes, where are you? I'm like, look, I'm at the Walmart. And he's like, at the Walmart in Thompsonville, or where I think that's the name of the place we were at in Virginia.
I like the idea that like we have to answer these questions.
Yeah.
Oh, the one off of this street and this street.
Yeah, buddy, I know exactly where I'm fucking standing. Yeah, dude. Yeah. And I'm
brother, I'm from Miami. We live on a fucking grid system, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck I
this
am.
windy ass crooked road, country road. Let me go back to Miami.
It's quite the adventure that you all had on this tour, both on the way and on the way down, which on the way down definitely sounds like that was when things really turned up.
Oh man. So the whatever. The guy's like, man, I'm all there, but I'm like, I'm sorry, sir. What are you saying? He goes, I don't know. He goes, I can go out there, but it's gonna be a $25 service fee just to go out there. I said, hey, bro, $25, 35. I forgot the exact details. I think it was $35. He said to just go out there, $35. I said, I'll fucking take it. And you know, Boom Howard from King of the Hill, right? You know, like the guy sounded like sounded like Boom Howard for real.
We're sitting there with him, and he's looking over the engine, and he goes, oh, I'm talking about now. Man, you know. And Baker goes, did you catch that? And I'm like, I'm so fucking exhausted. And I'm like,
yeah, like just to give you our mindset.
Yeah.
Sleep deprived. Our sleeping, not only is our sleep pattern off, our eating pattern is off. Like at this point, like if you smoke cigarettes or if you smoke weed or if you drink, like you're kind of doing it like not even to enjoy it, like more like
you have to.
Like I'm like in this weird haze where like I don't feel good. Like I need to do something to get my mind to feel a little better. And like it just, so we're like not all there. And like now you're having this guy looking at your engine that like
I'll take the thermostat
like,
out.
and you know what? I gotta be honest, like based on appearance, the guy looked like, I hate to say it, like the guy looked like he was in rough shape. Like his life wasn't in the best, you know. It's, but whatever. God bless his soul. He looks at us. He's looking through the engine, whatever. He looks at us and he goes, and I go, what did you say, sir? And he goes, if I remove the thermostat, you'll get to Miami.
He's like, I ain't gonna fix the car, but it'll get you down to Miami.
Let me ask you something. Jeff. How many times have you been at the mechanic or talked to a mechanic and said, if I remove this part, you're good to go? Okay?
None.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. So me and Red look at each other and go, hey, I literally, I think I said, and he goes, it's going to cost you $50 in total to fix this. This is after getting a quote from a mechanic the day before saying, if this is what I think it is, it's going to cost you $400 to $600. So hearing $50 to solve this, to fix this, including the service fee, I said, $50, I'll take that. I'll take the L and pay that, you know, if it doesn't work, you know what I'm saying? So I leaned to Red and I go, I said something along the lines of,
you think this is gonna work?
You think this is gonna work, or like, are we getting ripped off? You know, essentially, like,
bro, me in a fucking half, like I woke up from like the worst sleep of my life.
Like at that point, we were at our wits' end, literally. So we were just like, we kind of shrugged and said, we have nothing to lose, you know. The guy says, okay, yeah. We said, yeah. The guy comes back. He starts to unscrewing it, right? Mind you, so like I know, just in case no one knows this, you're not allowed to just dump liquids on the ground from a car. Like,
oh, dude,
you're not allowed to just dump coolant and oil and all that bullshit. It's like against the law. For those of you listening out there, you know, a little tidbit right there. It's against the law to be, you know, environmentally unfriendly. A fucking Virginia cop pulled over some other dude, so they're like, bro, not 15 yards away from us, right? So we can see the lights. Like, I just goes like this, pops one of the fucking hoses that he said open, and all you see is this spew of fucking green and brown gush just start flowing out, and the ground starts just, oh my god. And it's a little hilly, so you just see it just, and we're there like this, like, oh my God, we thought we had a big problem. I think now we have a bigger problem. If this cop finds out that this just happened, you know? So that's a whole, now I'm going off, but whatever. The guy
That is wild.
Wild. Like, we're like, well, you know, when you're about to tell somebody, wait, you're not, and they started, we're like, oh, whatever. We just sat there like this the whole time. The guy takes out the part, hands it to me, and
what do we do with it?
We put it in the car and said, in case this guy's wrong.
Did that actually get you all home to Miami?
Yeah,
bro, God bless you. What was his name? Oh my God, I'm forgetting right now his name. The dude's name. The mechanic. The mechanic. I'm forgetting. Oh my God, I remember like wanting to remember and not forget. I think his name was Robert. Hey, shout out to that dude because he was a man of his word. He said, this will get you to Miami.
He said, it ain't gonna fix the car, but it's gonna get you down home. And I was like,
bless his soul. That shit got us home. And he and you know what really made me feel good? That like he explained his logic about why he did it, which made me feel good because it's not that he's just like it's not like he's just like bullshitting you. Like, he explained why, and then it made sense and we got home, you know? And oh my God, bro. To this day, I'm like so thankful for that guy because what
a hero! What a fucking hero!
We were stranded. We were not coming home, bro. Bro, yeah. So
not after all that. No, that's a pretty crazy story, and having to go through those types of repairs and fixes to get it where you could actually get home, and the fact that that's what it was, a quick fix. So, did you all have a moment when you finally got home and you thought to yourself, do we continue doing this, or was that not ever a point of contention?
The main thing that we all came to this, because it's super funny because we never fucking come to consensus on anything. It's 5 just huge dickheads in a van. We couldn't come to consensus on anything, but when we got back home, the main takeaway was the worst day on tour is better than the best day at home. So it was like, yeah, let's go. What's the next one? Like, it was so fucking funny.
You know, Jeff, like, just to add to that, like, and I always say, because lately, like, we've been having a lot of problems with the tour we're booking now, which I can get into that after this if you want, whatever. But so I've been having a lot of problems with little things that have been popping up, little like curveballs that have been thrown at me or whatever. And I always tell all the guys, like, what a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Like, there's people out there that are like, they have to argue with their fucking coworker that they hate at the job they hate, and like, whatever, you know where I'm going with this. Like, it just, their life sucks, and like, they don't understand, like, their problems are like, they're sucky ass problems, like really shitty, like it sucks. And like, our problems are like, you weren't able to book the venue I wanted, Baker, what the hell? Like, I'm like, oh, look what we're arguing about, you fucking idiot. Like, we're still playing.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have.
Like, everybody,
like, you know,
it's a good, yeah.
It's like, because we were stranded, and all the little gray hairs I have in here, tour last year is a big cause of that, and that's not even a joke, because I went through a lot. We went through a lot of stress. Like, bro, when you're genuinely like, how are we getting home, right, bro? That's like a real, like, it's like when people say I was in an accident, or I broke my arm, or they just say these things and we go, oh, okay, cool. We don't know the trauma that people go through when they actually go through these things. So when you're in the situation of like, I'm stranded in the back road of Virginia, we've already gotten pulled over twice for going too slow, shit's getting real, bro. It's scary, you know? So yeah, like, it makes you go, oh man, I really want to rethink this, or like, do we want to do this again, or like, and it just makes you go, do it again, and just now this time. Yeah, just make sure that you're aware of these potential problems, and don't trust somebody that's lending you a van and saying I did do a checkup when they didn't.
What's the itinerary looking like for the next tour? Are you planning to play some other places that are outside of the East Coast?
Hey, yes, we are.
Yes, we're kind of venturing a little bit more into the Middle America, but it's still very much an East Coast tour.
I can name you the list of places we have.
Whoa, on deck.
Yeah, I already have the list here. And just keep in mind that what is it now? Some of the problems that arose that have arisen lately. Just, you know, I who would have known would have happened to me. So I'll explain that as we go. The first spot is at American Legion Post 111 in Tampa, Florida. That's going to be on June 1st. So everything, unless I say it otherwise, is in numerical order, June 1st to the 16th. So June 1st is Tampa, Florida at American Legions, Post 111. June 2nd is in Tallahassee, The Bark. June 3rd was supposed to be at this place called The Catacombs. I literally messaged them 2 days ago. I went on their Instagram to message them, and I said, why can't I find their Instagram? The venue out of nowhere disappeared. They deleted all their socials. When you Google them, this is permanently closed. So now I'm trying to figure out where to play in Atlanta, you know? So there's that. Who would have thunk it, right? I kind of wigged up for a second and said, let me let it go because we're still going to do great. And one show down doesn't mean anything. We'll make the best of it. June 3rd, that's Atlanta. June 4th is Asheville, North Carolina, at this place called the Auditorium, but like odd, like you're being odd, you know?
A bit odd in it.
June 5th, we're hitting up Harrisonburg, Virginia for Crayola House again, you know? I'm really stoked about that. Then Baltimore at this place called Secret Beach. Providence again at Revival Brewery. I've never been to Boston, so I'm so excited.
We're shipping up to Boston?
Yeah.
Whoa. No way.
So it's funny because they're playing at this place called O'Brien's Pub.
There you go. That's fitting. Yeah.
Then it's Brooklyn, New York at this place called, funny enough, 305 Records.
Wow.
That's very fitting.
Yeah, right. That's New York. Okay, so we were supposed to play Philly. The guy that said he was gonna get me the show completely just flaked on me and hasn't gotten back to me. So again, if you're watching this and if you want to give us a place to play in Philly or Orlando, I'm sorry, wait, I haven't gotten there yet. Or Atlanta, because we also need Orlando. That's a whole other fucking story. Whatever. Here, where am I? Okay, so Boston, Mass for O'Brien's Pub, Brooklyn, New York for 305 Pub. Then we're playing at a bowling alley in Youngstown, Ohio. Okay. This called West Side Bowl. So fucking excited for this, wow. You know? And I've luckily looked up their socials, bro. They actually get packed.
Yeah?
Yeah, they get fucking slammed. So I'm really excited. And I'm like, something I love about venues and stuff. There's a little tidbit. I want to give a shout out to Westside. I want to take 2 seconds to give a shout out to Westside Bowl. I hit them up immediately. They're like, you got the date, you got a place to stay, you got a washer or dryer, you got what is it? You got showers, and we didn't ask for any of this. Like we were going to, said we had it. But and it's like that means a lot. Like they places are like they know you're gonna be in need, and they do that stuff. I fucking love it. Like that's amazing. So shout out to Westside Bowl for that, and I hope they let us play bowl for free too. That'd be kind of cool.
There you go. That'd be a nice perk. Can't say I've ever seen a show at a bowling alley before.
Yeah, so. Exactly. That's what I'm stoked about. You know.
Yeah.
Following that date is Louisville, Kentucky, at this place called Magnolia Bar. They call it Mag Bar for short. After that, it's Huntsville, Alabama for Rocket Republic. Then
Sweet Home.
So last tour that we had, right? Our last stop was in Savannah, Georgia, at this place called El Rocco Lounge, right? And we couldn't. That's the only show that we had to cancel. The only one, right?
Because of
the car breaking down and stuff. It was actually a bummer, bro. Like, look, when you bust your ass to book a show, even losing one show, it sucks because, bro, you're on the road. You're already gonna pass by the city. You might as well try to fucking make a few bucks, make a few fans. Like, it sucks. Even one show. So losing it sucked. So we low-key jokingly said, we're gonna call this tour the
Sorry We Missed It tour.
Sorry We Missed It tour because of Savannah.
I like that.
And then there was a bit of mix-up, and then like some of the bands that we're playing with either don't exist anymore or can't make it or whatever. But we wanted to make it the exact same bands playing at the exact same venue, but we couldn't get that. But we did. It was close. We got the exact same venue with a few of the band on the original bill. So
it was very close.
So that's Savannah, Georgia, El Rocco Lounge for June 14th. June 15th. Again, this is another case of the promoter said it's too early. I said it wasn't, and now it's too late. And now I'm trying to find a place to play. Hey, if you're listening, bro, which I know you're not. Hey, bro, it wasn't too early. You should have booked me, and you should have tried harder. Me throwing shade. Uh-oh, man, this is so funny. And whatever. And the last stop on our tour is in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, at this place called Ginger Bar, which we actually played a last-minute show maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
cool people. It's like a little hole in the wall, but it's cool.
It's fun.
And then that's pretty much the tour we have. The majority of June, the better part of June is when we're gonna be on the road. It's funny because I don't travel much, or I haven't traveled much in my life, and I think the longest I've ever been away from my house away from home is 2 weeks.
Wow.
So the fact that we're gonna be on this road for a little longer than 2 weeks is kind of cool and like a little exciting, a little scary, obviously because we know what happened last time. But yeah.
Has the van gotten repaired? Is same vehicle?
We're not taking the van.
Yeah,
Okay.
We're not taking that fucking death trap ever again.
What are you taking this go around?
Unfortunately, we have to take 2 cars. I wish it wasn't the case because one van full of 6 people is always funner than 2 cars full of 3 people. Even though like there's less conflict, like it's just more fun to have stories and like tell things and like
it's a more unified experience in the van for sure. But we're taking. I got a big old Honda Pilot 2005 out there.
2005. You know how that go, player. Yo, go pick up the honeys in the 2005
Honda Pilot, dude. I love that car. She's been really reliable, so I think it'll work a lot better.
When we pull up to the shows and the honeys see us
in a Honda Pilot.
Well, that's important. That's important though, that it's more reliable, and hopefully some of those horrible mishaps you had with the van do not happen again on this tour.
Just wanted to
on this tour, because previously, although there's a demo that exists, there's no physical output from VOYTEK. So do you all?
You read my mind. I swear to God, because I literally have it written down here that for tour we're actually getting some lathe cuts made, some 10-inch lathe cuts spun at 45 done by this record label called Funky Frankenstein, located in Tennessee. And it's like a local dude. You should check them out if you're a band and you need like records made and you want something like that's kind of like a vinyl. You should check this guy out. It's like lathe cuts. It's kind of very similar. So we're gonna have, unfortunately, we couldn't make that many due to financial reasons, but we're gonna get 20 10-inch lathe cuts made. They're clear.
That's so fucking cool.
There's, like I said, they're spun at 45. There's about 18 minutes worth of music, give or take, on it in total.
Professionally recorded.
Yeah, this guy named John in Miami. What's his last name?
Nunez.
John Nunez in Miami.
Recorded by him.
And then we got it mixed by someone named Javi Lomai. I'm pardon me. Sorry, Javi, if I'm not getting your name right. So that's thank you for bringing that up. Like, we're gonna have that. We're trying to have a kickoff, but that's not set in stone yet. If we're able to have the kickoff, we might have the lathe cut by then, and we'll give the local crowd the chance to get the first dibs on it. But if not, then it's whoever on the road happens to it'll be a quote unquote tour exclusive. For anyone that sees us on the road. It's only 20 of them, and like when you think of it, like all you really need is to sell one every day, and then like you're almost sold out already. So imagine, and that's not if we don't all keep one. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. Yeah.
The recordings we got mixed, right? The ones that we have on our Bandcamp, right? Those are the ones that are going to be put on the lathe cut, so people, but we will have new material for tour, well, relative, we will. Yeah, we're gonna have
for tour for the shows. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have new material.
We're gonna have new material. I feel like even people that have seen every single one of our shows live will see us live on tour and go, oh wow, yeah, they got new stuff. They'll be like, but we wanted to like kind of like get out of the way that material and release it, and then like so the next time we release any sort of material, like it's like a clean slate. We know that we got that stuff out of the way, And also, like, I hate when like bands like release certain things and don't release certain things. So you're, as a musician, waiting for that vinyl drop forever and it never comes. And you're like, bro, that's the album they should have dropped. I hate when they do that. So I just like, I want to get, if we make something and we like it and we go out of our way to get it recorded and mastered, we're gonna release it and we're gonna give it to the public physically,
Sure. Yeah, that would be really great. Something to look forward to. And that lathe cut sounds like it's going to be pretty limited. So anyone that is a fan will want to probably pick that up and check that out. So good deal. Well, it's been a pleasure getting a chance to have you both on the podcast and sharing the adventures of VOYTEK. Because although the band has been around since the beginning of our wonderful COVID pandemic that started in 2020, there's been a lot that has been going on with the band. So that is, yeah, a lot can happen in a short period of time, right? So good deal. So definitely we'll have to check things out as because you move on to the next tour, which is coming up in the summer.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Very
excited. Yeah, it sounds exciting. So in closing here, kind of want to turn it over to both of you. Any final last comments you wanted to share with supporters, fans of yours? Anything else you want to share to wrap up as we kind of close out the interview?
I mean, I definitely want to like do the plugins of our socials and things like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess before we get to that, I want to say, shout out to like, shout out to every single person that like when they know we're playing, they like are ecstatic to see us play. Shout out to the people that like want to see us play in their city. Shout out to like, if you've ever messaged us and we're like, please come back to insert city, like that means a lot to us. At the moment, we might go, hey, thanks, we appreciate it. And it might seem like we're kind of like not like we don't care. It's you know, it's not that at all. It's just that we have so much going on, you know, but thank you so much for real. Like, I get stressed out, I get overwhelmed, I get anxious about this kind of shit all the fucking time. And I just have to remind myself, like, this is part of the fucking dream. Like, this is part of it. You know, the American dream, that shit's that's a fucking illusion. Like, you have to bust your ass to get what you want in life. And like, I just gotta remind myself that. So thank you all of you that just remind me that this is all worth it. And you know, I want to, and it's funny because I want to thank Gabe and I want to thank you for putting up with my bullshit. And I know I can be overwhelming sometimes, but it's just, I know you guys know it's because it's for the overall good, you know?
No, you owe me for that.
You know, give my fucking coffee.
No, yeah, for real.
If you want to, you know, chime in here.
No, I mean, I honestly, I have nothing more to say than that. Just like anybody who's ever given us the time of day. I know it's not music that's easy to kind of pop into and out of. So anybody who I know is willing to sit down and like give it a full listen is fucking insane. Anybody who so much as clicked on a link or showed up to a show or bought a t-shirt is fucking, you know, that's family in my book. And
we got shirts for sale, so thank you for bringing that up. We got shirts for sale.
Oh yeah, we have shirts. Yeah. We just made them.
So speaking of I'll do the social.
And thank you.
I'll do the socials now
for giving us a fucking a little bit of a megaphone here.
Yeah, Jeff, for real, man. Like, dude, it's awesome. Like, it's funny, you know. I'm in the, you know, I've had such a good time. I'm gonna be fully transparent with you here, if I can be, and even if stop fucking farting, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you here, Jeff. When I first contacted you, I was in like what I call like the crazy Tasmanian devil, like, hey, I'm looking for opportunity, you know, like my band needs blah, 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 blah. And when I first hit you up, like my goal was like, oh, I'm gonna like try to get a show with this guy, you know, like a show, like we're performing, you know. So when you hit me up, it's like, I'd love to interview your band. I was like, wait a minute, you know, like, and then I was like, and then I did more research. I was like, man, I'd love to be on.
Dude,
I'd love to be on this motherfucking
actually
shit.
Getting the chance to look through like your fucking catalog and all that. It's super, super dope. It's fun.
It's... One of the last ones you interviewed was what is it? Dashboard Confessional.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no fucking way, bro. I was like, that's fucking awesome, you know? And like, so just wanted to let you know, like, thank you for this opportunity and
thank you for what you do.
Yeah, man. Like, because
thank you.
This is the kind of shit that it's like anything else in life. Like, when you take the picture, it doesn't matter at that moment, but 20 years from now, when you look back at the picture, you're gonna go, thank God I took a picture in front of this stupid wall, because the wall's not there anymore, the building's not there anymore, and that's why you do it. This is like, so it's like, it's not so much that now this means something too much now, but like 10 years from now, it's gonna be like, wow, matters. Hell yeah, I'm so happy we did this, and like blah 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 blah, and like whatever. But now the socials.
I appreciate that though. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, for sure, Bobby. Like, you're fucking, don't stop, bro. Like, it's like I have a radio show, right? And like, I've been doing it for about 5 years. And like, when you first start, you're like, why am I doing any of this? And it's like, it's like, yo, your fans aren't gonna tell you, aren't gonna hit you up immediately and go, I love what you do. It's like they'll tell you in passing, hey, by the way, bro, I love your show and I like what you do. And it's like, it's moments like that you realize, well, people are listening and people are like they do care about what I'm doing, and I do make a difference in my community, you know, and like even if in my case I'm just sharing spooky movie original soundtracks on vinyl,
that shit goes hard though,
and talking shit, you know, with my boys. Which by the way, my show is called the Pepe Timbales Show. It's on joltradio.org. It's the second Tuesday.
Seamless.
It's the second Tuesday of every month,
Seamless.
from 7 to 8. And one of the main reasons I'm bringing it up, not only because it's for fucking shameless self-promotion, it's because next month the show lands on May 9th from, like I said, 7 to 8. And we're gonna try to do like a pre-tour like show essentially with the band, and so we could talk about like what we're gonna do, kind of like we're doing here, except more in depth of like, you know, sharing stories that I don't remember, but Red might remember. If not Red, it's Gabe or, you know, whoever happens to show up. So we're doing that, and pretty excited about that and stuff.
Yeah.
If you like what you hear, you can listen to our music on our Bandcamp, which is VOYTEK1941.bandcamp.com.
WOJTEK.
Yeah, WOJTEK 1941.bandcamp.com. If you want to follow us on Instagram, it's VOYTEK.1941. Again, spelled the same way. WOJTEK dot 1941. Do we have any other socials that we know about? Let me see here. Oh yeah, you can also just DM us if you want to buy a shirt, and then when the vinyls come out with
or if you just want to say hi,
if you want to say hi or follow us, you know. And yeah, man. Damn, that's it. I officially don't have anything else to say. I'm just kidding. I can talk about Storm forever, bro.
Yeah, we know, baby.
Yo, you know what? You know how John Cena never gives up? Yo, I never shut up.